The morning sun painted golden streaks across the Montana sky when the first silver ships emerged from the clouds. They moved with an eerie silence, their massive hulls reflecting the autumn colors like mirrors in the heavens. The peaceful town of Pine Creek, population 2,187, was about to become the front line of an interstellar confrontation, though not in any way the incoming aliens could have predicted. Lucy Chen was in the middle of adjusting the servo motors on her latest invention when the shadow fell across her bedroom window. The 10-year-old inventor barely noticed at first, too absorbed in the delicate process of calibrating her homemade drone's flight stabilizers. It wasn't until her collection of wind chimes, carefully tuned to play specific frequencies, began resonating with an unusual pattern that she finally looked up. "That's not normal atmospheric interference," she muttered, pushing her safety goggles up onto her forehead. Her bedroom, which her parents had long ago accepted would never look like a normal child's room, was filled with half-finished projects and carefully organized tools. Storage containers labeled in her neat handwriting lined the walls, filled with salvaged electronics and spare parts she'd collected from yard sales and her parents' recycling. The drone on her workbench, built from repurposed toy parts and controlled by a modified tablet, represented 3 months of careful work. Lucy had originally designed it to help her map the local wildlife patterns for her environmental science project, but it was about to serve a much more important purpose. Above the quiet town, Admiral Vex of the Zentriax fleet maintained a rigid posture as his bridge crew conducted their preliminary scans. The Admiral's crystalline exoskeleton caught the light from nearby monitors, creating rainbow patterns across the command center. "Report," he commanded, his translator converting the complex harmonic tones of his native language into something his mixed-species crew could understand. "Minimal technological development detected, Admiral," his science officer responded, compound eyes flickering across multiple displays. "Their power grid is primitive, and we detect no orbital defenses. The settlement below appears to be an ideal starting point for our expansion." Vex allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. After 50 successful planetary acquisitions, he had developed a sense for easy targets. Earth, with its fragmented governments and limited space presence, practically invited conquest. His superiors had specifically chosen this remote location to establish their first foothold, far from the planet's major population centers. What none of their sophisticated sensors detected was Lucy, who had already launched her drone through her bedroom window. She had modified its cameras with special filters she created for stargazing, and now those same modifications were capturing crystal-clear images of the alien ships that normal cameras might have struggled to focus on. "This is amazing," she whispered, watching the live feed on her tablet. Her fingers flew across the custom interface she'd designed, directing the drone to capture detailed scans of the vessel's hull patterns. The young inventor had already spotted at least 3 distinct technologies she'd never seen before, and her mind was racing with questions about their operating principles. In the command ship, a junior sensor operator noticed an anomalous signal. "Admiral, I'm detecting an unusual transmission pattern from the surface." "Classification," Vex demanded. "Unknown, sir. It doesn't match any known human communication protocols. The signal appears to be using multiple frequency bands simultaneously, in a pattern our computers can't decode." What the Zentriax's advanced systems were struggling to understand was simply Lucy's drone, which she programmed to use several wireless frequencies at once to improve its range and stability. Her makeshift approach to solving bandwidth limitations had accidentally created a transmission method that appeared far more sophisticated to alien sensors than it actually was. As the alien fleet began their standard invasion protocol, Lucy was already filling her notebook with observations and theories. Her natural curiosity and unconventional approach to technology were about to become Earth's most unexpected defense against an interstellar invasion. The Zentriax fleet had conquered 50 worlds, but they had never encountered a 10-year-old human inventor who saw their advanced technology as nothing more than a fascinating puzzle to be solved. Lucy's bedroom had transformed into a command center of her own making. 3 tablets, salvaged from the electronics recycling drive she'd organized at school, displayed different data streams from her drone network. The young inventor had stayed up well past her bedtime, adding makeshift infrared sensors to 2 more drones using parts from old remote-controlled cars and modified webcams. "The energy signatures are completely different from anything in my physics books," she mumbled, updating her observation journal. The notebook, covered in stickers from science museums, was filling up with detailed sketches of alien technology alongside her own improvised improvements. Her latest page showed a careful analysis of what appeared to be the aliens' anti-gravity systems, with her own theoretical modifications sketched in purple ink. Outside, the Zentriax forces had established their forward base with military precision. Sleek structures emerged from compact pods, unfolding with geometric perfection into a temporary command post. Security Chief Mira, her crystalline exoskeleton tinted a deep blue that marked her rank, supervised the deployment of their sensor grid. "These readings make no sense," she announced, examining the data feeds. The local area was producing signal patterns that defied their standard analysis protocols. Unknown to the aliens, they were detecting the overlapping frequencies from Lucy's various projects. Her automated weather station, the modified radio she used to track meteorological satellites, and her network of seismic sensors that monitored local geological activity. Lucy watched through her custom-built periscope as more alien troops emerged from their ships. She'd assembled it from old telescope parts and a flexible medical endoscope she'd won at the state science fair. "Their armor appears to use some kind of reactive material," she noted, sketching quickly. "I wonder if it's sensitive to electromagnetic fields." To test her theory, she activated her latest experiment, a series of small electromagnetic pulse generators she'd built to study their effects on plant growth. The devices, carefully hidden in her mother's garden, were harmless to Earth technology. However, the alien soldiers' armor immediately responded with unexpected color shifts, causing confusion in their ranks. Security breach in Section 7. An alarmed soldier reported to Chief Mira, "Our personal shields are detecting unknown energy patterns." Mira dispatched a squad to investigate, their advanced sensors sweeping the area. They passed right by Lucy's cleverly concealed devices, their technology too sophisticated to recognize the simple but ingenious setup as the source of their problems. In her room, Lucy was recording everything. "Subject group shows sensitivity to low-frequency electromagnetic pulses," she wrote. "Possible applications for further study." Her natural scientific curiosity had transformed what could have been a terrifying alien invasion into the most exciting research opportunity of her young life. The situation grew more complex when the aliens began setting up their communication array. Lucy's various wireless devices immediately began picking up their transmissions, though not in the way either side expected. Her tablet, modified to monitor local radio astronomy signals, started receiving what appeared to be alien technical data. "This is better than any textbook," Lucy whispered excitedly, her fingers flying across her keyboard as she attempted to archive everything. The aliens' technical specifications, though far beyond her current understanding, were being carefully saved for future analysis. On the alien command ship, Admiral Vex received increasingly puzzling reports. Their sensors detected sophisticated signal processing occurring nearby, but could not pinpoint its source. What they were actually detecting was Lucy's network of cobbled-together devices, each performing its own simple task, but creating a complex pattern when working together. "The humans must have hidden facilities we cannot detect," Vex concluded, unaware that their entire invasion force was being thoroughly documented by a young girl whose greatest weapons were her curiosity and creativity. As the sun set over Pine Creek, Lucy added one final note to her journal. Day 1 of alien observation successful. Tomorrow's goal: figure out how their ships fly. She glanced at her collection of spare parts and smiled. Sometimes the best scientific discoveries came from asking simple questions about complex things, And Lucy had more questions than any alien invasion force could possibly be prepared to answer. The discovery that changed everything happened by accident. Lucy had been attempting to boost the range of her remote-controlled devices using a makeshift radio amplifier, cobbled together from an old microwave emitter and parts from several broken phones. She positioned herself in her treehouse laboratory, which offered a perfect view of the alien encampment while remaining hidden behind the autumn foliage. Test number 7. She recorded into her digital journal, adjusting the dial on her modified controller, attempting to extend drone range using frequency modulation. She pointed the device toward her newest drone, which hovered silently above her vegetable garden research plot. Instead of responding to her commands, however, the drone remained stationary. But something else happened, something unexpected. The nearest alien patrol suddenly stopped in their tracks, their helmet communications filling with the cheerful voice of Dr. Sarah Mitchell, host of Lucy's favorite science podcast. Today we're exploring the fascinating world of Earth's magnetic field. The voice echoed through the aliens' supposedly secure communication channels. Did you know that our planet's magnetosphere protects us from harmful solar radiation? In the alien command center, chaos erupted. Security Chief Mira's crystalline form flickered with alarm patterns as reports flooded in from confused troops. All frequencies are compromised. A communications officer reported, their translator struggling to keep up with their agitated harmonic speech. Our encrypted channels are being overridden by educational content. Lucy, realizing what had happened, quickly began taking notes. Unexpected interaction between modified radio signals and alien communication systems, she wrote, her excitement barely contained. Their encryption appears vulnerable to certain frequency combinations. Further testing required. Admiral Vex received the reports with growing concern. Impossible, he declared, studying the data streams. Our communication systems are based on quantum entanglement principles. No primitive technology should be able to interfere with them. Yet the evidence was undeniable. Their supposedly unhackable systems were broadcasting human scientific content instead of military commands. Back in her treehouse, Lucy was conducting methodical experiments. She discovered that different frequencies caused different effects. One setting made the alien helmets play her collection of physics lectures, while another triggered broadcasts of chemistry documentaries. She carefully documented each result, drawing diagrams of wave patterns and noting the aliens' reactions. The quantum mechanics episode seems particularly effective, she noted, watching another patrol retreat in confusion as their helmets filled with an enthusiastic explanation of wave-particle duality. The young scientist had unknowingly discovered that her improvised transmitter's random frequency patterns created quantum interference that disrupted the aliens' communications. The situation reached a critical point when Lucy tested her highest power setting. She'd wanted to see if she could extend her drone's range to the edge of town. But instead, the signal bounced off the alien mothership's hull at just the right angle. The entire alien fleet suddenly found their internal communication system broadcasting a junior high school science fair presentation about renewable energy. This is unprecedented, Security Chief Mira reported to Admiral Vex. Our systems are being overwhelmed by what appears to be a sophisticated electronic warfare attack, but we cannot locate its source. The aliens' advanced sensors, calibrated to detect military-grade weapons and shielding, completely missed Lucy's homemade transmitter. Lucy, meanwhile, had filled 3 pages of her notebook with new observations. Alien technology shows surprising sensitivity to irregular wave patterns, she wrote. Possible application. My science fair project on communication methods could be updated to include interstellar frequencies. As the sun began to set, the alien command structure was in disarray. Their troops couldn't coordinate effectively with their communication systems compromised, and every attempt to locate the source of the interference failed. They had never encountered anything like this in their previous conquests. In her treehouse, Lucy prepared to head inside for dinner, making one final note. Tomorrow's objective: test if alien sensors can detect my solar-powered light array. Hypothesis: their advanced technology might be vulnerable to simple, unexpected solutions. She had no idea that her innocent scientific curiosity was rapidly becoming Earth's most effective defense against invasion. The morning dew had barely settled when Lucy's automated garden system activated according to its carefully programmed schedule. She'd modified the standard sprinklers to create optimal watering patterns based on soil moisture sensors, plant types, and local weather data. Today, however, her science project was about to become an accidental defense system. Pattern detection algorithms active, Lucy murmured, checking the readings on her tablet while eating breakfast. She'd added small sensors throughout the garden to measure water distribution effectiveness, each one transmitting data on its own unique frequency to avoid interference. The system was her pride and joy, a perfect blend of engineering and environmental science. The alien patrol never stood a chance. As the Zentriac soldiers moved through their standard sweep pattern, their sophisticated sensor arrays encountered Lucy's irrigation network. The multiple overlapping frequencies from her sensors combined with the specific mineral content of the water created an unexpected effect on their scanning equipment. Major anomaly detected. The patrol leader's crystalline form flickered with alarm patterns. Their advanced navigation systems, designed to map quantum states across dimensional boundaries, were being thoroughly confused by the seemingly random pattern of water droplets and radio signals. In the command center, Security Chief Mira received increasingly bizarre reports. The area appears to be protected by some form of spatial distortion field. One soldier transmitted, their translator struggling to convey their confusion. Our sensors show impossible readings. The space around us seems to fold in ways that violate normal physics. What they were actually detecting was the interaction between their quantum sensors and Lucy's wind chimes. She'd arranged them in a precise pattern around her garden, each one tuned to a specific frequency. The gentle morning breeze created subtle harmonics that, combined with the water droplets from her sprinkler system, generated interference patterns that the aliens' equipment interpreted as sophisticated space-time anomalies. Fascinating response to environmental stimuli, Lucy noted in her journal, watching through her periscope as another patrol attempted to navigate her garden. She'd added several new pages of observations about how the alien technology reacted to various frequencies. Their sensors appear to be hypersensitive to certain wave patterns. Further investigation required. Admiral Vex received the patrol reports with growing concern. First, their communications had been compromised by educational broadcasts, and now their most advanced sensing equipment was being defeated by what appeared to be incredibly sophisticated spatial manipulation technology. The reality that they were being stymied by a child's science projects would have been incomprehensible to them. Lucy decided to expand her experiment. She activated her latest addition to the garden, a series of small solar-powered lights she programmed to create different patterns for studying plant growth responses. The lights, combined with the water droplets and wind chime harmonics, created an effect that sent the alien sensors into complete chaos. Full retreat, the patrol leader ordered as their systems crashed, overwhelmed by what they interpreted as a complex defense grid. The humans have deployed some form of multi-dimensional interference technology. In her observation post, Lucy was excitedly documenting everything. Subject group shows unexpected reaction to combined stimuli of light, water, and sound frequencies, she wrote. Possible applications for non-invasive pest control in agricultural settings. Even faced with an alien invasion, her mind remained focused on how she could apply these discoveries to help people. The day's observations had added several new pages to her research notes. The aliens' retreat from her garden had given her numerous insights into their technology's limitations. More importantly, it had sparked several ideas for improving her existing projects. As evening approached, Lucy reviewed her data while planning the next day's experiments. Tomorrow's objective: test if the alien sensors react differently to various light wavelengths. Hypothesis: their quantum scanning systems might be sensitive to specific frequencies in the visible spectrum. In the alien command center, Admiral Vex studied the patrol reports with mounting frustration. Somehow, this simple Earth settlement had technology that defied their understanding. Their sensors detected energy patterns that shouldn't be possible at Earth's technological level, yet they couldn't locate the source. As another patrol reported system failures near Lucy's house, Vex began to wonder if they had severely underestimated this planet's defensive capabilities. Lucy stood in her makeshift workshop, surrounded by parts from old toys, broken electronics, and spare components she'd collected over months of preparation for the upcoming Star Festival. Her latest creation was about to make its debut, though not in the way she'd originally planned. "Final system check complete," she whispered, examining the small swarm of drones hovering silently around her. She built 12 in total, each one no larger than her palm, using motors from old remote-controlled cars and LED arrays salvaged from holiday decorations. Their flight patterns were controlled by a sophisticated program she'd written herself, designed to create beautiful aerial light displays. In the Alien Command Center, Admiral Vex was reviewing the latest sensor data when the alert came. Multiple objects detected launching from the anomaly zone. A sensor operator reported their crystalline form flickering with uncertainty patterns. The objects were Lucy's drones, ascending in a perfect helical pattern. She programmed them to move in three-dimensional formations inspired by her studies of mathematical patterns in nature. The small machines sparkled with multicolored lights, their movements synchronized by her custom control system. "Deploy defensive countermeasures," Security Chief Mira ordered, interpreting the beautiful light display as some kind of advanced weapon system. The aliens' combat computers attempted to analyze the drone's flight patterns, but failed to predict their movements. Lucy's programming, based on the seemingly random but naturally occurring Fibonacci sequence, appeared to their sensors as an impossibly complex tactical algorithm. "Fascinating response to harmonic flight patterns," Lucy noted in her journal, watching through her periscope as the alien forces scrambled to respond. She'd added small speakers to each drone, playing different frequencies that created pleasant musical harmonies. To the aliens' sensitive quantum detection systems, these simple sound waves appeared as sophisticated energy fields. The situation escalated when Lucy activated what she called the Sparkle Protocol, a series of synchronized light patterns she designed to simulate constellations. The drones arranged themselves in various astronomical formations, their LEDs twinkling in patterns based on actual stellar light curves she'd studied. Unknown energy matrix detected. The alien sensors blared warnings as the light display perfectly matched the frequency that interfered with their scanning systems. Lucy had accidentally discovered this resonance while testing different LED patterns for her presentation. Admiral Vex watched in growing alarm as his elite squadrons were systematically outmaneuvered by what appeared to be highly advanced Earth defense craft. The drone's movements, programmed by Lucy to create pleasing visual effects, seemed to demonstrate impossible technological capabilities. "These craft violate our understanding of Earth's technological level," Vex announced to his command staff. "They exhibit characteristics of quantum field manipulation we believed impossible for this civilization to achieve." The Admiral had no way of knowing that the quantum field manipulation was simply the result of Lucy's artistic programming and creative use of simple electronics. In her workshop, Lucy continued her observations. "Subject group shows strong reaction to synchronized light and sound patterns," she wrote. "Possible applications for future astronomical demonstrations." She was already thinking about how to improve the display for the upcoming Star Festival, completely unaware that her science project was being interpreted as a revolutionary defense system. As the day progressed, Lucy's drones performed increasingly complex maneuvers, each one carefully documented in her research notes. She was particularly proud of the double helix pattern she programmed, inspired by DNA structures she'd studied in biology class. To the aliens, this simple display appeared as a demonstration of advanced molecular manipulation technology. Tomorrow's objective, Lucy wrote in her journal as evening approached, test new constellation patterns and analyze sound wave harmonics in preparation for festival presentation. She smiled at her drones, now hovering quietly in their charging stations made from modified solar garden lights. In the alien command ship, Admiral Vex faced an uncomfortable reality. Their most sophisticated tactical systems had been thoroughly confused by what appeared to be technology far beyond their understanding. The truth that they were being outmaneuvered by a young girl's science project would have been even more difficult for them to comprehend. The Zentriax Intelligence Division had never faced such a perplexing challenge. Their most experienced analysts huddled around displays showing Lucy's notebook pages, captured by long-range scanning devices. To their advanced pattern recognition systems, her cheerful doodles of stars and rockets appeared as complex technical schematics. "The encryption is unlike anything we've encountered," declared Chief Analyst Zenith, their crystalline form shifting through shades of deep purple that indicated deep concentration. The encryption they struggled to decode was actually Lucy's habit of writing her notes using different colored pens, with sparkly gel ink for important observations. Meanwhile, Lucy sat cross-legged in her treehouse laboratory, humming her favorite song, while soldering new components onto her latest project. She discovered that certain electronic frequencies made her LED arrays flash in particularly interesting patterns, and she was eager to document the results. Test number 12 of the Rainbow Light series, she recorded into her digital journal, completely unaware that her casual notes were being analyzed by the most sophisticated cryptographic systems in 5 galaxies. Adding modified computer fan for improved air circulation. In the Alien Command Center, Security Chief Mira reviewed another batch of concerning reports. "The auditory emissions continue," she informed Admiral Vex. "Our sensors detect complex wave patterns embedded in what appears to be a simple melodic sequence. What their sensors were actually detecting was just Lucy's cheerful humming, made more complex by the way it echoed off her various experimental devices." "Extraordinary," Vex muttered, studying the sensor readings. "The human young one demonstrates complete mastery over multiple forms of energy manipulation." The Admiral's concern grew as more data poured in. His most advanced screening systems interpreted Lucy's simple actions in increasingly dramatic ways. Lucy's newest experiment involved testing different frequencies for her drone-like show. She created a small control panel from an old keyboard, adding colorful stickers to mark different command sequences. To the aliens, these innocent labels appeared as sophisticated control mechanisms for what they believed was an advanced defense network. "The young engineer continues to expand their capabilities," Mira reported, using the title that had spread through the alien ranks. "Our attempts to understand their technology have revealed disturbing patterns." The patterns were simply Lucy's organized approach to documenting her experiments, with each page of her notebook containing carefully drawn diagrams and enthusiastic observations. As afternoon approached, Lucy began testing a new addition to her project, a series of small mirrors arranged to create interesting light patterns. She'd learned about reflection and refraction in science class and wanted to incorporate these principles into her Star Festival presentation. "Mirror Array Test 1, she noted, adjusting the angles carefully. "Hypothesis: multiple reflection points will create more dynamic light patterns for the constellation display." Her methodical approach to improving her science project was being interpreted by alien observers as the refinement of an incomprehensible weapons system. Admiral Vex received increasingly worried messages from his superiors about the unprecedented situation. The Zentriax High Command had never encountered a defense system they couldn't analyze, yet this small human settlement continuously defied their understanding. "The complexity of the young engineer's designs suggests capabilities far beyond our initial assessment," one report concluded. The analysis included detailed scans of Lucy's workshop, with each childhood science award and completed project interpreted as evidence of extraordinary technological achievement. Lucy ended her day's experiments by testing a new sound frequency for her drone symphony. The gentle tones, designed to complement her light show, sent the alien sensors into another frenzy of confused readings and false positives. "Tomorrow's goals," she wrote in her journal, adding a smiley face sticker to the page. Test new mirror configurations, and finish programming the star pattern sequences. She had no idea that her cheerful planning notes would spend the night being analyzed by the most powerful artificial intelligence systems in the Zentri X fleet. In their command ship, the alien leaders faced an uncomfortable truth. They had completely lost their ability to predict or understand their opponent's capabilities. The fact that their opponent was simply a curious child with a love for science would have been beyond their comprehension. Lucy's backyard had transformed into what she proudly called her light laboratory. Her science fair project on refraction had grown more ambitious than she'd initially planned, with carefully positioned crystals and mirrors creating fascinating rainbow patterns across the landscape. The morning sun caught each precisely angled surface, sending brilliant beams of colored light dancing through the air. Beginning final calibration of the crystalline array, she recorded in her journal, adjusting a small prism mounted on a repurposed telescope stand. She'd spent weeks collecting various transparent materials, old CD cases, glass prisms from broken decorations, and even a crystal chandelier piece she'd found at a garage sale. In the alien command center, alarms blared as their sensors detected what they interpreted as an advanced scanning grid. Multiple energy beams detected. A sensor operator reported, their crystalline form flickering with panic patterns. The young engineer has deployed some form of quantum investigation field. Admiral Vex studied the readings with growing dismay. His most experienced specialists could not explain how the seemingly simple array of reflective surfaces was producing such complex effects. Their quantum detection systems, designed to identify the most sophisticated scanning technology, were being overwhelmed by what was essentially a child's physics demonstration. Fascinating interaction between light wavelengths, Lucy noted, completely unaware of the chaos she was causing. She had arranged her crystals in a pattern inspired by the molecular structure diagrams from her chemistry textbook. To the alien sensors, this simple geometric arrangement appeared as an impossibly advanced energy matrix. Security Chief Mirad dispatched another reconnaissance team, their mission to analyze the mysterious technology from a safe distance. The team's advanced stealth systems proved useless when they encountered Lucy's latest innovation, a rotating disco ball she'd modified with additional facets and LED lights. Unknown temporal distortion field detected. The team leader reported as the spinning ball scattered light in regular patterns. Our chronometric sensors are showing impossible readings. What they were detecting was simply the rhythmic pattern of reflected light, but their overly sophisticated equipment interpreted it as manipulation of space-time itself. Lucy continued her experiments, meticulously documenting each new discovery. Rainbow pattern intensity increases with additional reflection points, she wrote, adding another salvaged mirror to her array. Possible applications for solar energy collection. Even in the midst of creating what the aliens saw as an incomprehensible defense system, she remained focused on practical scientific applications. The situation reached a new level of absurdity when Lucy activated her crystal symphony, a combination of wind chimes and prisms she designed to create both visual and auditory patterns. The harmonic frequencies, combined with the complex light reflections, caused every alien sensor within range to register what they believed to be quantum field fluctuations. Their mastery of fundamental forces exceeds our theoretical models, Admiral Vex announced to his increasingly nervous command staff. This technology operates on principles we cannot comprehend. The Admiral had no way of knowing that the principles in question were basic physics concepts from Lucy's middle school science textbook. As afternoon approached, Lucy began testing different colored filters, creating new patterns that she carefully documented in her research notes. Red wavelengths show interesting diffraction properties, she observed, holding up a piece of red cellophane salvaged from an old holiday decoration. To the aliens, each new color pattern appeared as a different type of defense screen, leading them to believe they faced a continuously evolving technological threat. In her journal, Lucy sketched new ideas for improving her light show. Each innocent diagram was captured by alien surveillance and subjected to intense analysis by their most advanced artificial intelligence systems. The AI's desperate attempts to understand her simple drawings led to increasingly bizarre conclusions about Earth's technological capabilities. Tomorrow's final test, Lucy wrote, adding a rainbow sticker to the page. Full spectrum demonstration with synchronized wind chime acoustics. She smiled at her crystal array, proud of how her project had evolved. Meanwhile, in orbit, the alien fleet's tactical computers were reaching a startling conclusion. They had severely underestimated this planet's defensive capabilities, all because of one child's enthusiasm for playing with light. The evening of the Star Festival arrived with perfect clarity, the sky above Pine Creek darkening to a deep purple. Lucy stood in her backyard, surrounded by her greatest scientific achievement yet, a complete solar-powered constellation projection system. She'd worked for months on this presentation, combining everything she'd learned about light, sound, and electronics. Initiating final system check, she whispered, her excitement barely contained. Each component had been carefully tested. The modified drones hovered silently in formation, their LED arrays ready to create artificial star patterns. The crystal array gleamed with the last rays of sunlight, and her custom-programmed control tablet displayed all systems operational. In the Zentriax command ship, Admiral Vex received urgent reports from his sensor crews. Massive energy buildup detected in the anomaly zone. A technician reported, their crystalline form pulsing with alarm patterns. The young engineer appears to be activating their full defense grid. Lucy began her presentation with a simple touch on her tablet screen. The drones ascended in perfect harmony, their movements choreographed to create the illusion of stars coming to life. Her crystal array caught and split their light into beautiful rainbow patterns, while the modified wind chimes provided a gentle musical accompaniment. Emergency protocols initiated. Security Chief Mira announced as their sensors overloaded with data. The aliens' sophisticated detection systems interpreted Lucy's beautiful light show as an advanced planetary defense network activating. Each new constellation pattern that formed in the sky appeared to their scanners as another layer of incomprehensible technology deploying. "Look, Mom," Lucy called out excitedly as she guided her drones through the performance. "The Orion pattern is working perfectly." Her parents watched proudly as the lights danced overhead, forming recognizable star patterns from Earth's night sky. Other festival attendees gathered in the backyard, amazed by the young scientist's creation. Admiral Vex stared in disbelief at his tactical displays. The simple gathering of humans below appeared to his sensors as a highly coordinated defense force, with Lucy's innocent constellation display registering as a sophisticated targeting grid. When she activated her shooting star sequence, simple LED patterns traced across the sky. The alien combat computers interpreted it as weapons system targeting solutions. "Full tactical retreat," Vex ordered, his crystalline form flickering with patterns of shock and awe. "The humans have deployed technology beyond our comprehension. Their young ones possess capabilities that defy our understanding of physics itself." As the alien fleet began their hasty withdrawal, Lucy continued her presentation, completely unaware of the panic she'd caused. "And for my final demonstration," she announced to her audience, "a tribute to our solar system." Her drones moved into a new formation, creating a scaled representation of the planets orbiting the sun. The alien sensors, attempting to analyze this new pattern, crashed completely. Their most advanced artificial intelligence systems could not process what appeared to be a demonstration of complete stellar engineering capabilities, which was actually just Lucy's carefully programmed light show. Mission Report Update. Admiral Vex transmitted to the Zentriax High Command as their ships broke orbit. Earth classification: extreme hazard. Their children possess technological mastery beyond our current scientific understanding. Recommend permanent quarantine of this sector. Back in her backyard, Lucy received enthusiastic applause as her presentation concluded. "Thank you, everyone." She beamed, her scientific pride shining brighter than her drone's LEDs. Next year, I'm thinking of adding real-time constellation tracking. As the festival continued, the young scientist made one final entry in her research journal. Project successful. Light patterns performed as expected. Audience response positive. Future improvements. Synchronize wind chime harmonics more precisely with drone movements. High above Earth, the last Zentriax ships vanished into faster-than-light travel, leaving behind warning buoys to deter any other potential invaders. Their message was clear. This planet is protected by incomprehensible powers, wielded by the most unexpected of defenders. A human child whose only weapons were curiosity, creativity, and a love of science. Lucy Chen's Star Festival presentation would be remembered as the best the town had ever seen. But only the stars themselves witnessed how her simple science project had accidentally saved Earth from an alien invasion, proving that sometimes the greatest defense against advanced technology is a child's imagination unleashed through science.